welcome to the Tech Room podcast. In the Tech Room podcast, we bring you innovations, breakthroughs about what's trending in technology. My name is Ogeneruna Maria Esigbola, and each week we dive into the latest and the greatest in the world of technology. We literally bring technology and protocols at your fingertips. So today we have Beulah in the house. Hi, Beulah.
Hi, Ogene. Thank you for having me, and I'm so glad to be with you
So
today.
I told you that you're going to model the name. It's Ogeneruna, but you can call me Maria.
Okay, Ogene, Maria, sorry.
It's all right. You can call me Maria. It's fine. So I've gone through your profile. I think you are a great person doing so much in technology, in EdTech presently. So what have you done in EdTech?
Okay, what I've done so far is I work with an organization that basically, just like I said, we work with the grassroots. So more like it's not the, we are not so much into like saying, oh, let us bring the sophisticated technology into the whole system of the grassroots and to those in rural communities. It's just the basics, just like ChatGPT, just like the simple AI that we use today, because even though those people don't know how to use it, and then we try to make them integrate it into their normal life. Okay, this is what you do if you want to use ChatGPT. This is what you do. This is how to navigate YouTube. This is how to navigate tools that can help you, learning tools that can make them understand whatever they're being taught faster. So basically, that's what we do. So we take it to rural communities. We teach these children based using these tools, and we make them to integrate it into their learning so they can get used to it.
So far, how many communities in Nigeria have you taken this to?
Currently, we started with a pilot community, which is the Abraham Adesanya axis of the Lekki environment for those who are used to Lekki. So we've done it at the Abraham Adesanya community, the General Paints, the Ajiwe. So give or take, we're looking at about 5 communities that we have started. We started in 2024, and the 2025, we are looking at a very bigger picture, looking about close to 100 communities, and we have started that to the glory of God.
Okay. So far, do you feel the children are getting this tool? Do you feel they're using it well? And what have they done with these tools?
Okay. Basically, just like I mentioned, that this is grassroots communities, and the reason I'm more important, I keep emphasizing grassroots, is because most of the children that we're looking at or that we deal with, they are people that are not exposed to those things. So it is gradually. Sometimes it takes more effort than you would do to a normal child who is in the in the urban areas or the suburban areas. So for those in the rural communities, it can be a little bit difficult, but they have this enthusiasm, and that's what keeps us going. So when you tell them to take a phone and operate some things, and they don't know how to do it the first time, the enthusiasm is there. They really want to know it. So, and that's where we try to bridge the barriers that we have. So some barriers that we identified, sometimes language, some like exposure and the likes, then we bridge these barriers. But they're doing well. If I would rate it in percentage, I would say they're doing well, about 40%, based on what we've done so far. And I hope that with more improvement, they would get better day by day.
Okay. So how do you see technology shaping the world presently? Because before now, there was nothing like AI or maybe using these tools, prompting these tools to get results. How do you see technology shaping the future?
Okay, personally, I like to take it from my own perspective, my personal view. So I'm going to bring it even back to my personal self now, rather than even the EdTech and everything. I remember when I was in school, there was nothing like, if we were given assignments when I was during my undergraduate studies, we would have to, check textbooks, check your handouts. You're doing so much research, and those are the things that make you a serious student. Then the numbers of handouts you can read and the likes. But I left the university, and I started doing, because I work as a research assistant too, so I do some research work, and then research became things that you want to do a research, you can get the whole framework from using ChatGPT and the likes, and this is everything we're talking about as regards AI and tech and all of those things. These things, like, just let's use a 5 years span for now. So 2020, now this is 2025, things have changed drastically. And I just, like I said, in the comment section that prompted this interview, I did not like using ChatGPT before, because when I use it, it is always obvious that this thing is ChatGPT. It was always obvious. There's a way I can read an article and I can tell if the person wrote it with ChatGPT. But the way the AI are so advanced, sometimes when you write something with some prompt and you give it the right prompt, and just like the Mr. Kolade was saying, many times now you don't even have to keep repeating your prompt. There's a mastering level that AI has actually adapted, that it can actually start behaving like you. You don't have to keep repeating information over and over again. You can just give it things to do. And so I say it has a very wild improvement. And trust me, I'm in awe of what is to come in the future. I cannot start thinking about how far we are going to go. But I know it's going to be something that is going to be very, very fantastic, and we are in for it.
So I had a conversation with someone, and the person said, "Oh, I can't use these tools because I feel they're demonic." I mean, how will you just run something and it just give you great results? What can you say about that?
If I'm going to talk to the person as regards that, I'm going to ask the person that if you it's just like a child. When the child is born, you don't tell the child doesn't automatically come from heaven and say, "Daddy, mommy." It is what you impute, like it's something that you train and tell the child that this is a pencil, this is a lady, this is a man, and that is what they are currently doing. So the way we were giving birth to, and we are taught we are taught at the alphabet, numerical numbers, and whatever it is that we know today, it started from something. So it's the same thing as you building a house. If you see a 2-bedroom house or a detached building, or whatever building and architectural structure they are saying, is whatever the architects, the structural engineers, and whatever designed, and then they started building it from the scratch. So that's the same thing as AI. It did not just come out of the blues. There are people behind these things. There are codes behind these things. So if it's just something that just came down and descended and said, "Yeah, I am, you can start using me," then we can say it's demonic. But as long as there are people at the back end doing these things, prompting these things, the engineering these things, it's not demonic. If you want to know the reason behind the whole manifestation that AI is giving, go and ask those people. They will tell you what they are doing to make it like that. So it's not demonic.
So as a leader in EdTech, how would you foster the culture of innovation in your team?
When I will still come back. So you will have to indulge me, because I talk so much about the grassroots, and that's because if we can focus more on those on the grassroots, many of them, because if you're looking at just the upper stream, the upstream, many of them don't have problems. They understand everything that we're talking about already. So if I would say, as a leader in EdTech, what I look at things from a holistic approach, and then if I'm going to bring it to EdTech, I would say that we should create innovations that can be used we should have everybody in mind when we are creating innovations. We should stop focusing on the upstream aspect. And I think that's the problem that we're currently having. If you look at some of the innovations that some people come up with, most people in the grassroots cannot relate with it. If you're telling them to use some apps, some people that don't even know how to operate a phone, how do you expect them to just bring some tablet and you're saying that you can do some arithmetic progression of this thing and they will understand? And that's the problem we have. Many people just create innovations, stuff like that, and they don't think of people that may not have access to it. So we can start looking at technology that is accessible to all, regardless of your economic standard, regardless of whatever. Let it be accessible to all. And that's where cost implementation comes into play. Many people do gadgets that cannot even be afforded by the masses. So cost implementation, budgeting, and all of those things. So I would look at it that let us have innovations that is accessible to all and affordable by all.
Okay. So one more question. So if you have unlimited resources, what tech problems would you love to solve in your community, your rural area, where you take this EdTech thing to? What would you like to solve? What's the problem?
For me, if there is a problem that I'm even currently working on and I'm trying to solve, is the problem that we have with community development organizations. When we talk about grassroots, most of one of the pioneering body that pushes everything that we're talking about is the community development organizations, groups, people that are focused on building communities like this. And one of the problems that we have is that we don't have sustainable funding. Most of these organizations want to do a lot, but they don't have money. So what I'm looking at, and personally, if I'm looking at people that can, that can see this vision, is that we have a kind of technology that can bring people, especially maybe Africans in the diaspora, together to see the problems that we currently have. So it's be like a one space body, just like the social media apps like LinkedIn, Facebook, and the like. So let's have like an app that brings everybody together, not just for social networking. The reason we are on that app is to share burdens of problems that is happening major, because I like Africa a lot. So everything I want to do is still centered on Africa. So that's one of the things I am going to do. If I have unlimited resources, create an app. So on that same app, we are able to share the problems. We can mitigate risks. We can do funding, crowdfunding, everything on that app. I don't think such app exists yet, but I'm looking at having people that can build that for us and make this thing happen, so that we can actually fund we don't have to depend on grants. We don't have to depend on all these US aids and all of those things. We can look at how to build sustainable funding internally, even as Africans, using those in the diaspora bonds and the likes.
So one advice for those hoping to transition into technology, what's your advice for them? Whether ed technology, or maybe data visualization, or just technology and engineering, because literally there's technology everywhere.
Yeah.
Even medicine, there's technology. So what's your advice for those hoping to transition into tech?
Okay, I have just two. And I think I've said one earlier, which is creating solutions, innovations that is accessible to all. Don't create solutions that is only for a particular set of people, and then some people are limited. We are automatically placing a barrier on some people that this is not meant for you. I don't think I want us to. If anybody is ready to transition into tech and you're looking at innovations in the mind, start thinking of innovations that are accessible to all, and we can make it happen. And I think the second one will be that have a specific problem that you're willing to solve. Just like I mentioned, the problem of funding, sustainable funding, and how some so-called NGOs will say that they are doing NGO and community development work or social impact work, and yet they use it for their personal sake. So if we have something that is transparent and all of that, that's the problem I am willing to solve, as a social impact agent. So let's have, if you are looking to transition into technology space, be problem oriented, like be problem focused, and whatever solution you're providing, so you are engineering it into that problem, and you're solving that problem specifically. So that would help you to stay focused on whatever you are solving, and also keep thinking of things that you can do to make that solution better for the problem that you're solving.
Thank you so much, Beulah. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We are so glad. I mean, you spoke very well, and I just pray that people in Nigeria, they understand these things and they go with your advice and everything. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.